Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Professor Squatch coming to you from my Pokemon lab in the woods with a fun video today. I've played every generation of Pokemon, caught and bred thousands of them over the years, and have only completed the Pokedex twice. Once in Pokemon Crystal version on my Game Boy Color, and secondly in Pokemon Sword on the Nintendo Switch. But a few months ago, I decided to take on a new endeavor. The coveted living Pokedex inside of Pokemon Home. What is a living Pokedex? Well, put simply, it's catching and storing every single Pokemon that is available in one location. What does that truly mean though? Say my Pokedex has a Sobble, Drizzile, and Inteleon in it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I have a Sobble, Drizzile, and Inteleon each individually. Usually that means I started with a Sobble, evolved it into a Drizzile, and then eventually an Inteleon. The only Pokemon I have in the end is the Inteleon. A living Pokedex, though, or living dex for short, is where you have an individual Sobble, Drizzile, and Inteleon, as well as every other Pokemon currently available. This task is not the easiest one to do. Filling a living dex takes a long time for a lot of people. However, as a Pokemon professor, I felt it was my duty to begin this journey in my career to learn more about each Pokemon available. Obtaining one of every Pokemon species takes a ton of effort. There are now at least 890 Pokemon across 8 generations of games. Out of those 890 Pokemon, there are also numerous forms that can be attained. Some Pokemon are next to impossible to track down as well in the present time. Even with this task being as daunting as it is, I've decided to undertake it. However, I'm going about it in one of the most unconventional ways. I didn't start by simply looking at what games the Pokemon would be the easiest to catch in and transfer from into Pokemon Home, because I had already amassed a small collection of Pokemon between 3DS games and my Nintendo Switch games, so I decided to do this challenge as quickly as possible. Many tools are required for this task as well. This Living Pokedex challenge will be a series of videos showcasing each generation as I capture them, and I will highlight the unique Pokemon that may have been obtained in a not-so-conventional way. I will also highlight the process and tools that went into obtaining them. As of now, I have collected the first 151 Pokemon. The Pokemon of Kanto region, first released in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, are by far some of the easiest to obtain. For this portion of the Living Dex, I utilized the following tools. A Nintendo 3DS with copies of Pokemon Omega Ruby, Sun, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Crystal version on the Virtual Console, the Poke Transporter app on 3DS, and the Pokemon Bank app on 3DS. I also utilized a Nintendo Switch with copies of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Sword. I used my mobile phone device with Pokemon Go installed, and lastly, of course, the Pokemon Home app on the Nintendo Switch. Do note that this is not the cheapest task in terms of real-world money. I won't break down the total cost, but it can be pretty daunting. With that though, let's take a look at my unconventionally gathered living Pokedex of 151 Generation 1 Pokemon now stored inside my Pokemon Home app. Of course, I will be reviewing my living dex in the order of the National Pokedex. The first box showcases Pokemon's numbers 1 through 30, Bulbasaur to Nidorina. Bulbasaur comes from Let's Go Pikachu and was unused in my playthrough. Ivysaur is next, and actually comes from Pokemon Go, transferred into Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, as breeding didn't exist in that game. Instead, I took the quickest path of bringing a duplicate Ivysaur from Go into the Living Dex. Venusaur comes from Pokemon Go as well, for the same reasons. Charmander comes from Alola, strangely enough. A purchased copy of Ultra Sun from GameStop resulted in a PC with Pokemon from the last owner that I just couldn't let go of. These are a part of what makes my list unconventional. Charmeleon comes from Let's Go Pikachu, and so does Charizard. Charizard, however, is special as he was a part of my Kanto champion team in the game. Squirtle comes from being my starter gift on the release of the Pokemon Home app. He's lived here since the beginning of the service, and he probably isn't going anywhere. Wartortle comes from Let's Go Pikachu, and so does Blastoise. Blastoise is the second member of my champion team from Let's Go Pikachu. Caterpie, Metapod, and Butterfree all come from Let's Go Pikachu. Weedle, Metapod, and Beedrill also from Let's Go Pikachu. Good old Pidgey though, along with Pidgeotto and Pidgeot, they also come from Let's Go Pikachu. Rattata and Raticate hail from Let's Go Pikachu in what is becoming a recurring theme. It's true a lot of these Pokemon are easily located in Let's Go Pikachu. Spearow and Fearow, you guessed it, Let's Go Pikachu. But now we hit a couple that aren't. Ekans and Arbok come from Pokemon Go. Why? Because they aren't able to be caught in Let's Go Pikachu, and I don't own a copy of Let's Go Eevee. Thankfully, the existence of Pokemon Go aided in this collection. Pikachu, a Japanese one at that, comes up next as a gift from Pokemon Home as a welcome to the service. Raichu comes from a purchased copy of Pokemon Ultra Sun. Also notice that this poor Raichu has Pokerus. I don't know if that's legitimate or not, but hopefully Raichu isn't feeling too bad hiding away in Pokemon Home. Sandshrew and Sandslash come from Let's Go Pikachu, with Sandslash being the third member of my Kanto champion team that I mentioned. And to round out the first box in the collection is Nidoran Female and Nidorina, both coming from Let's Go Pikachu. Our second box will cover numbers 31 through 60, Nidoqueen to Poliwag. Nidoqueen joins her pre-evolution forms from Let's Go Pikachu. Nidoran Male, Nidorino, and Nidoking are all from Let's Go Pikachu as well. Nidoking, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, is the fourth member of my Kanto champion team. Clefairy and Clefable are from Let's Go Pikachu, as is Vulpix. However, Ninetales is from the Generation 8 region of Galar, in which Pokemon Sword, it was traded to me by some person named Chris. Thanks, Chris. Jigglypuff is from Let's Go Pikachu. Wigglytuff, though, is from Pokemon Go. Wish I remembered where I caught it, but then you know where my lab in the woods is, and yeah. Zubat, Golbat, both from Let's Go Pikachu. So are Oddish and Gloom. To save a Leaf Stone, though, I brought over Vileplume from Pokemon Go. Paris and Parasect are easy. Let's Go Pikachu. Same with Venonat and Venomoth. Diglett, though, comes from my purchased copy of Ultra Sun from a trainer named Yellow. Like the Yellow game version? You get it? Anyways, moving on. Doug Trio, Let's Go Pikachu. Meowth, though, is one cool cat. He's actually the gifted Meowth you could receive in Pokemon Sword and Shield until January 2020. He's the first Pokemon that I have in this living dex that can Gigantamax too, which I think is pretty cool. He lives here forever now though, so sorry little guy. Anyways, Persian, Psyduck, Golduck, Mankey, Primeape, Growlithe, Arcanine, and Poliwag round out the second box, all coming from Let's Go Pikachu. On to box 3, numbers 61 through 90 of the Living Pokedex. Poliwhirl joins Poliwag in being from Let's Go Pikachu. Poliwrath, however, to save a Water Stone, is from Pokemon Go. Now come a few evolution lines that require trading in games in order to evolve. Since I don't have many friends as a secluded Sasquatch Pokemon professor in the woods, I decided to bring them in from Pokemon Go. Abra is from Pokemon Go, Kadabra is from Let's Go Pikachu, whereas Alakazam is from Pokemon Go, because again, no friends. Machop and Machoke are from Let's Go Pikachu. Machamp is from Pokemon Go. Bellsprout and its evolutions aren't available in Let's Go Pikachu, so I had to take a different route. Bellsprout comes from a Wonder Trade within Pokemon Home, and it appears to be from Let's Go Eevee and a trainer named E2. Bell comes from the global trade system in Pokemon Home, and I couldn't even begin to say the name of the trainer it originated from. Victory Bell comes from Pokemon Go to round out this evolution line. Tentacool and Tentacruel come from Let's Go Pikachu. Geodude and Graveler both are from Let's Go Pikachu 2, but Golem comes from Pokemon Go as it's a trade evolution. And again, I have no friends. Ponyta, Rapidash, Slowpoke, Slowbro, Magnemite, Magneton, Farfetch'd, Doduo, Dodrio, Seal, Dugong, Grimer, Muck, and Shelder complete box 3, all coming from Let's Go Pikachu. The fourth box houses Pokemon numbers 91 through 120 of Generation 1. Starting with Cloyster, who comes from Let's Go Pikachu. Ghastly and Haunter are from Let's Go Pikachu, but the trade evolution Gengar, of course, comes from Pokemon Go. 0 friends. Onix and Drowsy, Let's Go Pikachu. Hypno, however, comes from Pokemon Go. Mostly because I had it already and figured, hey, why not? Krabby is from Let's Go Pikachu. Kingler, though, is actually from Pokemon Go. Again, an availability thing. Voltorb, Electrode, Exeggcute, Exeggutor, Cubone, Marowak, and Hitmonlee, you guessed it again, Let's Go Pikachu. Again, though, I only have Let's Go Pikachu, so without starting a new game, I am only able to select between Hitmonlee or Hitmonchan in the game. So I chose Hitmonlee, and for the sake of time, Hitmonchan is a spare one that I have from Pokemon Go. Lickitung comes in from Let's Go Pikachu. My next one, though, had a longer journey. Coughing comes from Pokemon Crystal on the Virtual Console for Nintendo 3DS. Yes, Coughing was caught in 2D on my DS from the good old days, as Pokemon Home puts it. Coughing and Wheezing are exclusive to Let's Go Eevee, so I had to take a different route to get them. I didn't have a spare Coughing in Pokemon Go, so I grabbed this from the only game I was far along enough into, Crystal version. Wheezing, though, was readily available from Pokemon Go. Rhyhorn and Rhydon both come from Let's Go Pikachu, and while the 5th member of my Kanto champion team is a Rhydon, it is not this Rhydon. Chansey, Tangela, Kangaskhan, and Horsey all come from Let's Go Pikachu too. Teedra, though, hails from Pokemon Go. Goldeen joins in from Let's Go Pikachu. Maybe we should tally how many times I've said Let's Go Pikachu in this video, because, Seeking is slightly different. I nabbed this one in Pokemon Sword for some reason. Probably a wonder trade, though, as it appears to be from a trainer named Scott. Thanks, Scott, for helping me build my living decks. Staryu rounds out the box with you know what game. On to the last major box. Pokemon numbers 121 through 149. Yes, I actually put 150 and 151 in their own box because they're special to say the least. Starting out our journey through the 5th box is Starmie, coming to us from Let's Go Pikachu. Mr. Mime enters next from Pokemon Go. Scyther, Jinx, Electabuzz, and Magmar come from Let's Go Pikachu. Like a whole lot of my Generation 1 Pokemon if you haven't caught on yet. Pinsir shakes it up a bit, coming from a trainer named Ace out of the Alola region. Thank you to Ace. Tauros is from the usual spot, but Magikarp comes from a trainer named Jocker in all capitals. Apparently it hails from the Generation 7 Alola region too. Gyarados, Lapras, and Ditto bring us back to the trend of Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu. My Eevee here, though, comes as another wonderful gift in Pokemon Home after completing some challenges within the application. Eevee's evolutions all come from Pokemon Go, though. Since I had Let's Go Pikachu, I didn't really attempt to catch any Eevee. So to save time and not worry about the evolution stones, I just took one Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon from Pokemon Go. When the game first launched and all you'd catch is Eevee and wind up with one of these evolutions randomly when it evolved, finally, they were put to good use. Porygon comes from the game whose name is getting harder to say, so I won't say this time. Omanite and Omastar come in from Pokemon Go because I did the unthinkable. I didn't pick our Lord and Savior, Helix Fossil. And since you only get to pick one of the fossils, I picked my favorite, Kabuto. Then, I didn't even use it. So, Kabuto comes from Let's Go Pikachu, but the lack of breeding meant I had to grab Kabutops from Pokemon Go. Aerodactyl and Snorlax come through my playthrough of Let's Go Pikachu as well. There, I said it again. On to the final stretch, the legendary Bird Trio. Articuno was caught by me in Let's Go Pikachu. Zapdos, however, comes from my pre-owned copy of Pokemon Ultra Sun. Thus, it strangely hails from Generation 7's Alola region, where it is much harder to catch than it is in Let's Go Pikachu. But I had it, so here it sits. Thanks to whoever Nay the trainer is for catching it for me. I did catch Moltres myself in Let's Go Pikachu. I'm not entirely lazy, you know. Dratini was ready and available to come in from Pokemon Go. Dragonair is kind of cool, as it hails from the Alola region, caught by the trainer known as Lion King. He tames lions and dragons, apparently. Oh my. Dragonite comes in from Pokemon Go, surprisingly. I guess I just didn't attempt to get the dragons in Let's Go Pikachu for some reason. Now, onto the grand finale. The two most unique Pokemon in my Generation 1 Living Dex collection. Mew and MEWTWO. These two came to me through the purchase of the Ultra Sun copy I have from GameStop. This trainer didn't wipe their save file before selling, and I am grateful. I know how difficult it is to get your hands on these. Starting first with the Shiny Mew. This Shiny Mew comes from the Hoenn region, apparently. However, if you were hoping that this was legitimate like I was, you'll be sad to learn it most likely isn't. After Googling Mitsuki.tv and realizing the trainer ID was 12345, it just simply appears that this is a hacked Shiny Mew that someone left in their Ultra Sun copy from some Wonder Trade event that this Mitsuki.tv hosted. Sadly, the same can be said for MEWTWO. This MEWTWO is perhaps more believable as it comes from the Alola region, where it is entirely possible in Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon to catch without an event ticket. It also is entirely possible that it's a legitimate shiny. It would take forever in most cases, but soft resetting a 3DS is possible to get a shiny MEWTWO. The thing that makes it seem hacked, though, is the fact that it has Pokerus, as denoted by the pink face icon. It's pretty difficult to get that. Thankfully, I do have a legitimate Mew and MEWTWO from other means, so I still have a living Generation 1 Pokedex in Pokemon Home, no matter what. MEWTWO comes from me from Pokemon Go, and Mew comes from the Pokeball Plus controller that I purchased to go with my Pokemon Sword game. As an added bonus, I also brought over my Meltan and Melmetal from Pokemon Go, which is a bit painstaking, but I did it. Anyways, that's really it. It took me about 3 days of gathering Pokemon I had already transferred, as well as catch or transfer Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Sword into Pokemon Home, to complete just the first generation of my living Pokedex. That leaves 7 more generations of Pokemon to gather through various means. I did not document my journey in video format of collecting Pokemon 1 through 151, but I plan to document as much as possible my journey to collect Generation 2 for the living Dex. I plan on doing this through playing games from the regions they originate from, if possible. For the Johto region Pokemon, I plan on using my Pokemon Crystal version Virtual Console and my copy of Pokemon Soul Silver. The transfer process is pretty complicated, but it'll feel better bringing Pokemon in from their home regions for the purpose of my research. That's it from my Pokemon lab in the woods. Thanks for tuning in to Professor Squatch, and be sure to subscribe, like, and comment for more Pokemon content.